Hey everyone, Sergio with the Rideshare Guy. Welcome to another episode of Behind the Wheel. Today I'm joined by Francisco from Boston, Massachusetts. He's one of the OGs of Boston, Massachusetts, but I'm going to let him tell his story. So, welcome, Francisco.
Thank you, Sergio, for having me. I really enjoyed your channel, and thank you everyone for watching this channel. I'm really excited to be here and share some of my stories. I've been driving for Uber and Lyft for close to 11 years. I started out with Lyft when I had to tie up that little fuzzy mustache on the grill, and and where you invite people to sit up front, and it's kind of like they encourage you, like picking up a friend, and they gave me a guarantee of $20 an hour, whether I pick up someone or not. And if in that hour I made more, I keep the higher rate. Then they hired me as a mentor. So I would get a pin and saying, hey, go meet someone. And then you would sit in their car, go for a test drive. And then in the app, you answer all these questions. And based on what you said, they would hire that person or not. And you had to inspect their car and all that stuff. Far,
I
far from
remember,
what
I
it is
remember
now.
those days. I remember those
Yeah.
days that yeah, they had mentors driving
Yeah.
around approving these new drivers, you
Yeah,
know.
and they're paying $30 an hour, so it's really,
Yeah.
really exciting. And then one day I picked up this person. I didn't know who he was, but I was taking him to the Uber office, and he's telling me, "Oh, nice car, this and that. You got to try driving for Uber." I go, "Do you work for Uber?" Yeah. He goes, "Can I drive for both?" Yes. So I tried that platform. It was busier, so I got over 26,000 rides with Uber, and I do it part time. I'm retired now. I do it much, much less. I have two cars. I have a 2023 Tesla Model Y, which I'm doing this from. And I recently purchased a not a Toyota Camry Hybrid 2025. I love that car. And I've been blessed. And I'm thinking about getting rid of the Tesla, but I really enjoy the Tesla. So I may keep both. That way I don't put miles on too many of them. But yeah,
Yeah.
um,
Well, talking about
yeah,
your Tesla in Boston, I mean, we know what's going on with Elon Musk and Tesla and all the protests and things like that, right? In fact, we're going to
yes.
talk about it on our show on Tuesday. There are threads on Reddit and other places or Facebook going on that a lot of people who don't like Elon and Teslas are giving drivers one stars. Have you faced anything like that yet?
I haven't, and I check my ratings every day. You know, I take pride. Before I got the Tesla, I was like around 4.6, 4.96. And then I got the Tesla and climbed up to five. And that's almost impossible to get five. It's hard to please everyone. But now it's at 4.96. So I always check it, and I don't. My thing is, I pick somebody up, I say thank you for being here, I acknowledge their name, where they're going, and I keep quiet. I don't talk. If they want to talk, I talk. My objective is to get into point A to point B safely. And there's so much distraction going on. So that's what I do. You
Yeah.
know, just keep it, provide service. You know, if I'm not feeling like driving, don't drive it. There's a lot of aggressive drivers in Boston. Between that and the potholes, those are the two big challenges. But no, I haven't encountered one,
Okay. Do
you know.
you own both of your cars or do you have notes on them
I
or
do, I do. I own them. One year I tried the lease and it just didn't work out. You know, you put too many miles on the lease. I had to pay like $2,500. I went over the miles. Now most leasing companies, they specifically said no commercial use on them.
yeah.
So I keep my cars for a year or two, then I trade them in or sell them.
Okay.
But yeah, I'd rather just do that,
So you've been
you
doing it
know.
for 11 years, 26 plus thousand trips. You said part-time. What did you do before you started driving for Uber and Lyft?
I was working for AT&T.
Okay.
And I was just supplementing this, just going out, and you know, I like driving, and I like meeting people. You know, if they want to talk, I talk, and just provide service. You know, I've had a lot of experience in the hospitality industry. I own a boutique bed and breakfast with my siblings, so I'm about being of service to others, but only if they want to talk. Otherwise, I just keep quiet. You know, and just just wow them with just good service and.
Okay.
The tips are really good and the ratings are good. And as long as it works out that way, I'll continue to do it. But I'm doing it
Okay.
much, much less now.
Okay. Well, is there a reason that you're doing it much less, or is it that
Uh,
I mean, you've seen quite a bit. I mean, look, you were there the first day, right? And
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
talk a
Um,
little bit about those changes that you've witnessed or you've observed over the last 11 years.
Well, the upfront fare is definitely since the companies have gone public, uh, now their duty is more to their shareholders and the drivers, as you well know.
Yeah.
Boston used to have some Quest up to $600, so it was really easy.
Yeah.
They charge you for time and miles. In the summertime, I go down to the Cape, and we're here. It was like 60 cents per mile. Over there, it's like $1.60 a mile.
Yeah.
So a big difference. So that has changed. The Quest of that disappeared. The upfront fare. So it's a different experience now. I feel like before there was like the wow factor. People getting Uber now. It's just people take it for granted, and I feel like we're almost like, well, in Boston we subsidize public transportation. They call it last mile,
Mm-hmm.
where the commuter rail will go a certain place. We also the T, it's just called here the public transportation. They have the ride where people with disabilities, they send out a van. Well, it's cheaper to just send out an Uber. People still only pay $2 or $3, but the driver gets more, and it's feasible, to do that. So it's a different experience now. There's more drivers on the road. It's a little different, but I still go out. I don't hold anything. Don't hold any of the negatives. Just stay positive. And just make it an enriching experience to my guests. I like to call them guests, and just be grateful every day. Grateful, even if I make $1. Be grateful, and avoid all the noise and the chaos is going on.
Yeah.
Only control what you can control, and just take it day by day.
Yeah. No,
And the
I
other
love.
reason why I'm doing that is I do a lot of personal growth. I take a lot of online courses,
Yeah.
on health, so I do that, you
I
know.
love I love what you just said. I mean, attitude I think is the most important thing. And then if you have a bad attitude, I don't think you should be driving because
No,
it
I agree.
reflects on your passenger and it reflects on you. But I
Mm.
want to talk to you a little bit about this, maybe a minute or two about obviously you're in Boston, Massachusetts. As you know, Uber and Lyft and the state AG agreed on some sort of deal that now you guys are on about $33.50 per active hour minimum wage. What do you think about that? Have things gotten worse or better for you since they passed that?
I think they've gotten better because even if you take a short ride, $4.95, um, today I've driven 4 hour active time, 4 hours, 4 hours and 10 minutes. I divided, and I've made so far $123. That's an average of $28. I'm not going to sweat it
Yeah,
because last Thursday I had like all of a sudden I logged in my app and there's an extra $300.
yeah,
2 weeks before that, there's an extra $400.
yeah.
So it's $33.48 active hours. So that is really, really good, you
Okay.
know.
And so what type of driver are you? Are you an ant or a cherry picker?
Am I what?
Are you an ant or
No.
a cherry picker?
What do you mean by ant or cherry picking?
Okay. So if you do watch us, we talk about, okay, ants are drivers who have 100% acceptance rate.
I
And
was
cherry
doing
pickers
that.
are the ones that just sit and snipe surge and do like 1 out of 10 trips and things like that.
Yeah, I'm kind of in between both. Before I was accepting everything like but I find that staying within the city is better. I'd
Hmm.
rather do a bunch of short rides, and I find out when I'm driving the Tesla, with regenerative braking. I go all day for like under $10, all day driving. Plus, I found a new charging station at 25 cents per kilowatt hours, and a brand new V4 that's really fast, and right in front of a new Starbucks. So it's a win-win. So I just charge it once a day. I take a bunch of short trips. My car's getting charged up. Or if I take longer trips,
Yeah.
then you use up more batteries,
So
and then you run the
why
risk
did you
again.
buy the second car? I mean, Tesla is a perfect car to do rideshare with. So
Yeah, it is, but then I thought, I bought the 2025 Camry thinking, uh, I don't want to put too many miles on the Tesla, and I was paying more to charge it, and I had a car cover for the last 2 or 3 months. I've had a car cover, I haven't used it. Now the car is like change. That's the beauty about a Tesla. With the software upgrade, it's more efficient.
yeah.
And before the other one was cheaper to run. So, and I thought maybe I should sell it, but I think I may keep it or I may
Okay.
sell it. I don't know.
All
But
right.
I love both cars. I've
Well,
been
as long as,
blessed.
look, you don't owe anything on it, that's the important thing. If you did owe something on it, then you have to look at it differently, different business, that way.
Yeah, well, the Tesla, I own it, and the Camry by choice. I wanted to finance it because I was able to get a super ridiculously low interest. So, play with the bank's money and the way I look at it, you
Yeah,
know.
absolutely. Yeah, yeah. Okay, so give me your typical day. Give me a typical day in Francisco's Uber
Okay,
Lyft day.
my typical day is it's nice when you're retired. You wake up when you wake up, no alarm clock. I love that. After being 42 plus years in the corporate world, it's nice to do that. And I try to I think I plan out my day the day before.
Hmm.
I check the weather and I see the areas. I live about 40, 45 minutes north of Boston. So
Hmm.
I go into Boston, where it's really, really busy. And I try doing it in the morning, but in the morning is like there's a lot of rush hour traffic and you spend a lot of time. So I do my things, my education, online training, meditation, health, exercise, all that in the morning. And I try to be driving by 11, 12 o'clock or so. And then, I take breaks throughout the day. I don't go flat out. It's not good.
Hmm.
Sitting down, so you smoking, you got to get out and walk around. So I take breaks, after like 3 or 4 hours,
Hmm.
take breaks. And then I'll if I'm up to it, I'll drive like the evening commute. It gets really, really busy. And I find out that I can make so much money in concentrated time because I'm working smarter, not harder,
Yeah.
where the action is, and there's surge pricing and it's busier and it's
Okay.
just continuous, continuous. And I try to get it to the point where people get out of the car and I'll tell them, you can leave the door open and there's somebody waiting right there. That's efficiency and algorithm.
Yeah.
If you can do it that way, by doing a bunch of short rides, staying in town, there's a lot of college students and doing that. And I'm happy. And then I go home and usually I top off my car and it's ready to go the next day.
Do
Always
you,
keep it clean,
yeah. Do you drive
but
on the weekends?
I Sundays I take it off. I spend time with my girlfriend. And Saturday only like half a day because I
Okay.
go to my girlfriend's on Saturday and then to Sunday. So yeah, I
Okay.
gotta take some time off. Yeah,
Okay.
you gotta. Yeah,
All right. Now that we got this out of the way, let's get to the meat and potatoes.
yeah.
So you emailed me and you had attached an article that was in the New York Times, right? And you talked to them about safety issues. You talked to them about a bunch of different issues. But I'm gonna get quiet and I want you to explain why you were in the New York Times, why you tried to reach out to them, and what was the topic, and then how things have changed, and what, as a driver, give me like your safeguards, what you do, what you would like to see, all those things.
Okay, I'll keep it real brief because of essence of time. Um, During the pandemic, with the mask, it wasn't, the government wasn't, we didn't know what to do. There was a lot of confusion. I was wearing a mask and all that. And what I would do is, I reached out to Uber. I said, hey, it's like, on the app, you should make people say, hey, wear a mask. Hey, do away with the pooling. I don't want somebody sitting in the front seat, and all this stuff. And I couldn't get a reply from them. It was impossible to get a hold of phone. So I was emailing and all that. So I thought outside the box. I go, wait a minute. So I contact the New York Times, and then they text me and they call me. Hey, this is Kate. From New York Times. We're doing a story on this. Blah, blah, can we talk? Sure. And then at the time, I was doing some food delivery, Instacart, I think it was, or one of those. I forget what it was. DoorDash. And and I said, sure. So make the story short, she interviewed me for an hour and I explained to her, my story, blah, blah, blah. And I go, again, the burden should not be on me. What I was doing is I get a request and say, hey, this is Francisco, your Uber driver. I'm asking all my passengers, due to the pandemic, if you could please wear a mask. And immediately, as soon as I get that, and I had it, I go, please confirm, reply. I don't want to show up. Then they throw a fit. No, I'm not going to wear it. I don't have a mask. And then I have to cancel. Then it got ugly. So it was that. And and for the most cases it worked. And then about the front seat and all that. So I explained that to the New York Times, and they said, "Hey, you mind for using your name?" Oh man, I used my name. They might cancel me. No, no, no. I'll go easy, and everything. And they didn't. And they wrote all those things that I had, implemented. They
Yeah,
wrote all my
well,
concerns.
yeah, they will not respond to drivers individually, obviously, because they probably get 10,000 emails an hour. But
Yeah.
what they'll do is once you get into the newspaper, see, Uber does not like one thing, and that's what it is negative publicity. Uber hates negative publicity, right?
Hmm.
So, that's where I get under their skin quite a bit. And
Hmm.
so what you did, but that was during the pandemic. But there are other things, safety issues and many other things that continue until today that you have some suggestions for. And I'm pretty sure Uber will watch this as well because they watch everything. And this is your chance. Talk to Uber.
What I'd like to say, first of all, I'm very grateful for Uber, the platform, and Lyft, and all my passengers. It's been a nice ride for the most parts. But I believe that we shouldn't let off the pedal. We should still, continue to offer safety as our main concern to our, so our passengers feel safe and raise the standards, the whole experience. And one of the suggestions I'd like to request for Uber is, when you're going to request, acknowledge certain things, one of the things that I find that to be concerning is that some of my passengers getting in with their smartphones and they're playing really, really loud videos or music or playing something totally inappropriate that should not be heard in public.
Yeah,
I'm sure that if you get into a public transportation, a bus or a plane or a train, they're going to tell you, "Hey, turn that off."
yeah,
And why, as drivers, we should not be able to tell them to do that. It's common sense because I hold back because I'm concerned they can give me a low rating. And I shouldn't come to that. So I think that having a little video acknowledging and all that, hey, wear a headset, just common courtesy. Another thing is pay attention to the app. Boston's really busy. Drivers are very aggressive. See which way the driver's going, and all that. Be on the right side of the street. When you have people honking, there's nowhere to park, and they're honking and all that. They're getting very aggressive behind you, and it creates a lot of anxiety. And then you're concerned. That's another thing. That's two. And the third one is just be mindful. Don't open the door when there's cars going by. I've had instances where people, almost rip out the door. I don't
yeah,
want my passenger to get hurt or get my car. You know, Even if it happens during a ride, I know Uber's got insurance, but still, that means I still have to pay $1,000 deductible. My car's going to be in the shop. It's just bad experience. Just simple things. That's all.
yeah. Well,
I want to
do
say
you
just
think
things
do
out of
you think
kindness.
because I'm sure you get tons of in-app messages from Uber as a driver, right? I get it. I get it all the time. Almost daily messages about ridiculously stupid things, right? And I know they don't do it to the rider because I'm also a rider. I'm also a passenger
Mhm.
on both Uber and Lyft as well as a driver, and I'm sure you are too.
Yep.
Um, you notice that as a passenger or a rider, we don't get any notifications about any of these topics, right? And they can push that out as easily as they push it out to the drivers, right?
I think so.
Why don't you
I
think they
think so.
do that? Why do you think they don't do that?
I don't know, but I think that if they want to be looked upon as, promote and market safety so they could be above that, sell safety. We take pride in safety and we're doing this to elevate the whole experience. I think that they could do that. Just safety is really, really, really important. The Boston's not getting any better. It's just more traffic, and the road conditions, and they could do that. Um, and I think it just sell it as a safety, market it as a safety, lead
Yeah.
with that. And I think that there's going to be a win-win situation for everyone,
Yeah.
you know?
You say, let's continue a couple more minutes on safety and then we'll talk one other topic. Do you think Uber is doing everything um for the safety of the drivers that they can do? Because, they have introduced the 911 button. They have introduced, you can record voice and video now on your phone. I don't know if you have a dash cam or not, but we'll talk about that as well.
I don't, but I know I should. I know you highly recommend it.
You
Um,
definitely should.
yeah.
But So, Uber has done some things towards the safety of the driver, obviously, right? But do you think it's enough? Do you think what else can they do?
Well, it does says the driver, the passenger has been verified. I'd say, have their complete names. Don't put like, nicknames and all that. I don't drive at night. I don't drive the weekends at night. It's just, I tried it. It's a challenging experiences. Power to the folks that do that, but I choose not to do it. And it just, it's a safety issue. But I think having the complete name, like John, Mary, have that. And if possible, maybe have a picture. They have a picture of us. Why not have a picture of them?
Yeah,
Have a little more. We should know a little bit about more than that.
yeah.
I have this guy sitting right behind me that look,
I hate those.
remind
Don't you
me.
hate those when they
Yeah.
sit right
Oh,
behind you?
right behind you. And I tell him, and this guy looked like Jeffrey Dahmer. He was telling me to take me behind a building, really sketchy. And then, like 30 miles off, it was my last ride at night. And then he tells me he switches the, don't park in front of the building, park behind the building. It's like really sketchy. Three different stops. Oh my God. I thought he was going to put a knife right through me. It's like horrible. That's been my worst one that I felt
Yeah.
my life
Well, I
was
tell you
threatened.
one thing,
So
you
I
know
tell
what I
everybody to
do?
sit over here,
Yeah, you know what
you
I
know,
do is when somebody jumps in from the left side and sits right behind me, right? I mean, I have a dash cam, but I tell them, look, I pushed the seat forward on the right side, the passenger seat. You have more leg room. Why don't you just move to the right side? Because
that's what
when
I
they,
tell him now.
you
Yeah,
know,
I always tell him that. I always mention, can you please and all that. Because I can see better through my rearview mirror, and also I made exactly what you said. You have more room over there, and I always be with kind, just be nice. Like the Tesla doesn't have a frame around the window, so some people will grab the window to close the door, and then eventually that will loosen it.
yeah,
So most people just grab the door. The Camry's got the frame, so it doesn't matter. So I
yeah,
always say, could you please, grab the door, not the window. And I always mention please, please, because I take pride in my rating. I
yeah,
do this because I want to, not because I have to.
yeah,
And like you said, people pick up on your energy, you
yeah,
know.
yeah, for
But
sure. We have a couple more minutes remaining, so
yeah,
you already gave the audience some advice from the start. I mean, your attitude is great. You're still working on your self-improvement classes and things like that. You're doing it part-time, but look, man, 26,000 trips is a lot of trips.
yeah, but it is. I like the flexibility. I'm on a growth mindset, and you know, and and I'm about giving. I'm blessed. I don't have to do this, but I'm blessed. I think the biggest gift when you're driving is not the money and the tip, but the people you meet, their stories, how it's unbelievable.
Mhm.
I had this lady that has done like 50 something trips on an airplane and it's all paid for from Maine to come into Boston for transplants of different organs. And it's like, just when you think you're having a bad day and all that, it's like, oh my God, all these stories.
Yeah,
Uh, it's just, and that's really beautiful. And I always, I carry, I just bought these Beats, Power
yeah,
Beats too. They're amazing. They're amazing because my regular uh, AirPods that keep popping out. These things. So I always carry my iPad, so I listen to books, or I create my own list of YouTube channels like you. And I don't need to list. I don't need to see anything. I just want to hear it. But
yeah.
my first priority is what's in front of me, and I don't have anything. When it's really stressful, whatever, I've shut everything off. But then after that, so it's not too many jobs. You can pick your hours or create your own thing.
What do you
You
say?
can
What do
make
you
your
say?
car.
What do you say to? So, as you know, I have my Iron Man in Boston as well. His name is Raphael. Maybe you've watched his interviews. He puts in 70 to 90 hours a week, and he's been grossing 3,000 plus dollars every single week, driving Uber X and Lyft Standard for the last 5 years. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think he's one of the top earners. One year he made like 200,000. The other year he
Yeah,
made 180.
yeah,
He takes a break. He's got two cars, and I think he's Brazilian. And he takes
yep,
vacation, and he only stays in the city. He
yeah.
doesn't go out. So I listen to that. And another thing that I admire, this is one of the things I admire about anyone, no matter how successful you are, is the humility. And he's a very humble person. I like that. And so I've taken advice from him, and that's why I don't take all the trips. And that's why I'd rather do short trips,
Yeah,
stay within the city. That way you can serve more people.
yeah,
Yes, I like his attitude. He's been a force, a guiding force.
yeah.
Definitely. God
For
bless his heart.
yeah, absolutely. He works hard. He plays hard. He's a great guy. But he's also in Boston. So, well, we have a couple of minutes remaining. I want to give you the floor, and talk about anything you want to talk about to finish it off. It could be about anything. It doesn't have to be about rideshare. It could be about life. It could be about anything you want.
I think that listening to your channels, I pick a lot of good nuggets from everyone, and just picking up on cues, on people anticipating their needs. You know, I had this young lady, and I always play music, not for me, but for my audience, and I deliberately keep it low. And I play Stan Getz music. It's a classic albums from the '60s, and it's bossa nova music.
Yeah,
The Girl from Ipanema. It's a great album. I didn't really know how famous this album is until people say that's a great album. I own that album. It's incredible. And I found out that Berkeley College of Music, the library is named after him.
hmm,
So and I play it really low, and people. So I create this ambience, this environment, enriching environment with people. It's not just getting from point B, from point A to point B, but creating the space that people feel elevated. People need an upgrade in everything in their life. When
yeah,
everybody's coming back, and so I try to elevate their experience. Clean car. I don't. I put ozone, on in my
yeah,
car.
yeah,
This is a state where pot is legal. So I pick them up at a dispensary. I don't want my car reeking like a skunk. They're going to think
yeah,
it's me,
yeah,
so you have to be proactive, create a nice, clean car, pay for scrub a dub, unlimited, and just have fun with it, and it's like, I like to think as an entrepreneur, this is your business. This is your investment. This is, you run it, and people will pick up on that experience. They go, wow, it's like, and I think that's really when you think that way, you don't work for anyone, you partner with Uber, and I think that makes a world of difference, to do that, and that's how I approach, and
yeah.
I'm blessed to have this opportunity, and thank you for inviting me here.
No, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, to me, the important thing is in everything you do in life, right? Do it to the best of your ability. And I, don't chase results, right? The results will come if you do what you're supposed to do.
Hmm.
Okay. And then everybody makes their bed and sleeps in it. And, some drivers don't treat this as their business. And, the results are pretty evident of what happens. But I want to thank you for taking the time doing this. Much appreciated. Please go get a dash cam. I mean, I know you
I
don't have
will.
that much, but I'm telling you, all it takes is one. Okay?
Yes, I agree. Thank you very much, Sergio. I really appreciate it. Your great channel here. I learned so much. Thank you for everything you're doing.
Well, thank you
And
for
I'm
the
still waiting
support.
for the settlement here between Uber. So it's
Oh
based on
yeah,
how
keep
many
me posted
rides.
with that. You're supposed to get some money. Keep me posted,
Yeah,
please, with that.
I called, and I spoke to them at the state, and they say they already hired a company, and they were just waiting for Uber and Lyft to send all the information about the drivers and the hours, and they did. They
Okay.
sent all that, so it should happen anytime soon in the spring. So we're officially in the spring,
Okay.
and it's based on how many rides. So hopefully,
You're
I'm
gonna get
counting
a
on
good
that. Yeah,
chunk. You're gonna get a good chunk.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
well, keep me posted with that as
I
well.
I
So,
will.
thank you for doing this. I appreciate it. Please be safe out there and stay healthy.
Thank you, Sergio. Thank.
Thanks for watching this episode of Behind the Wheel on the Rideshare Guy. We've been doing these interviews for the past 6 months with very successful drivers from different cities around the nation. Click here for another episode. Make sure you subscribe and turn on all notifications for other episodes of Behind the Wheel as well as amazing content on our channel.